Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Podcast 5, Season 3 of the Blue Collar Workers. We are, as always, your voice, your nation. I'm Sean, John or Yahya, depends on who you're asking. And as always, my ride or die,
Chris.
This week is slightly, and I mean slightly, calmer than last week. Trump has stopped threatening NATO with invasion, like a fucking man-child. We could see the return of Andy Burham and his intent to remove Sir Wetfish Starmer. Let public buy war bonds to raise 20 billion to the defence, says Liberal Democrat leader. I'm not sure that that's a good way to resolve our war funds issues. How about something novel, like tax the international corporations doing business in the UK for us to raise the money? Britain's FBI to take over terror and fraud problems in reform to police. Do we need an FBI-style police force with the horrific levels of corruption we are already suffering in the UK's police force? Should we not concentrate on that first? And the Chango Island debate delayed as Tories call for a halt to the bill alongside the imbecilic Donald Trump and his interference of our democratic rights to choose the fate of our own fallen empire. Trump, you're a fucking retard. To all of your supporters who have a problem with me calling you a retard, by all means, bring up a critique of our grievances or shut the fuck up. Because I'm wielding my literal liberal democratic voice to tell the entire political establishment to fuck themselves, regardless whether they're left, right or centre. So to anybody who don't like me, bite me. That's literally my response. I don't care. I just don't give a fuck. Over to your side, my boy.
Just follow on from his thing, just put it in a more political aspect. If you can come up with a critique that actually has a point to our argument and they're only bringing an emotion to it, go sit in a corner like a little child and cry, and don't raise your voice. Yeah? that's all I've got to say on the matter. Because if you can't come up with a sensible argument, you're acting like a child and you deserve to sit in the corner.
I mean, that's just brilliant. Sitting in the corner like a fucking child. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Come on.
I mean, the complaint was so. I thought, a comment. Someone's going to say something intelligent. Someone's going to engage on what we're doing. And no. It wasn't. It was. No wonder you have no subscribers, no viewers, no comments. You're ignorant, but you think you know better. Concede big apostrophes. Ignore ignorant and wrong is the worst combination. I disagree with your videos and wouldn't have said a word, but you're so confident and so wrong I can't. Coughing and constantly clearing your throat whilst without covering your mouth is really nasty too. Trump needs a smack. Look at yourself. Commentator, I'm not even going to credit you with your name or anything. You could have at least given a critique of the fucking material we're putting on the fucking internet. Instead of commenting about us having no likes or shares or anything like that. Madam, we have had our podcast for a year. You've had your page for 12. We already have more subscribers, likes and clicks than your entire fucking 12-year page.
Ouch.
And we've been doing this just a year. Just a year.
Alright, moving on from that.
Yeah, let's get going.
Points for today. Motorway 4-year closure threatens local shops.
Fucking what's new?
And just to aggravate that other person, Trump apologised to the UK Armed Forces. NHS best kept secret. And what to know about Warm Homes Plan, what it entails. And the one I'm going to start off with, top Al-Qaeda chief getting a parole hearing. You fucking kidding me? We should be going into that in a minute. I'm sorry, a parole hearing? He should be stuck in a hole and left to rot.
As the Muslim sat on the table, no person who is engaged on any form of terrorism whatsoever should ever see outside the light of day of a prison. And we Muslims go further. If they had been given to us, they wouldn't be alive. Let's be very, very clear about this. Muslim justice is about unaliving problems. Oh, you're a terrorist. Here is a noose. And that's if we're being civil with the animal. But if you're going to lock them up, you don't have a fucking parole hearing. You lock the door, you throw away the fucking key. If we're holding to liberal justice.
Since you're on it, we just might as
Yeah,
well
yeah,
start.
go, fucking
A
Jesus.
top Al-Qaeda chief could be free to roam Britain's streets in a matter of weeks after he was granted a fresh parole hearing. Why the fuck was he granted one in the first place?
What are you on, Liberal Britain's justice system?
Right, you're better at pronouncing those type of names than what I am.
Raghazaran Ahmad,
Let's go to him. Ahmed.
the most senior
The
Al-Qaeda figure.
figure ever convicted in Britain is due to appear before a parole board on Friday the 13th. I hope that's his death sentence day. As he makes another bid for release. The 40-year-old, once described as Osama bin Laden's right-hand man. I'm sorry, but as soon as you got that title, you're gone.
If you're described as Osama bin Laden's right-hand man, you never come out of prison. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani regime.
He's expected to argue he has fundamentally changed during his time. Ahmed made legal history in 2008 as the first person convicted in Britain of directing terrorist activity. Jury at Magistrate Crown Court found he had led a 3-man cell preparing attacks of mass murder against the British public. Despite serving well beyond his minimum 10-year sentence, his repeated bids for parole have failed. So the conviction centered on Ahmad's role in orchestrating a terror attack with links to the highest levels of the international jihadism.
You know, firstly, congratulations to the British criminal justice system. His multiple bids of parole have failed. He's already served 10 years. The fucker should die in jail. I can say that with the fullness of my chest as a British Muslim. The fucker should die in jail.
Investigators established connections between the former taxi driver and the perpetrators of the 7th of July 2005 London bombings, as well as failed attacks 2 weeks later. So he was a part of that. I'm sorry, no, you go and you get locked up.
The only way I believe...
His face looks like he's had multiple beatings in jail already.
Let me be very, very clear. The only way I would believe that he has radically changed, because when you're a Muslim, you follow a certain set of fiqh, a certain set of Islamic laws. And if you have radically changed, he would have had to have publicly renounced the Salaf movement that gives birth to jihadists and Kisharites, as we call them. And he doesn't look or dress like the kind of person who objects, because that's a Salaf. That's from the most hardcore, to use English language, right-wing political ideology in Islam. And he's on the further side of those as a jihadist. If he was with Osama bin Laden, he was on the extreme literal interpretations of the Quran.
Counter-terrorist officials believed an attack on the British soil was imminent, though the specific target was unknown. The plot was uncovered after police found 3 diaries containing contact details for senior Al-Qaeda operatives written in invisible ink. Ahmad was arrested by Pakistani intelligence in August 2006, held for a year, and then deported to the UK, where he was handed a life sentence with a minimum term of 10 years. I'm sorry, it would be a life sentence and no
without parole. I would have made that life sentence without parole.
Yeah.
And I'm not joking. The British Orthodox Muslim community would have hanged that man. We'd have hanged him.
In September 2022, the 40-year-old's parole application was blocked after authorities ruled he remained too dangerous to release. I'm sorry, that is
4 years ago.
4 years ago. Let's say 3, because we're at the start of 2026. He was ruled too dangerous then. I'm sorry, to make that radical of a come round in 3 years is unheard of.
Yeah, no, and I fundamentally don't agree with it. This man is a plotter of mass murder, in complete contrary to what the Holy Quran tells you how to live.
The following year, prison officials ordered him to undertake a de-radicalization program.
Oh, they're bollocks.
However, the paroled again refused his release in 2024, concluding he continued to pose a risk to public safety. A risk assessment submitted to the panel remained susceptible to indoctrination and presented a general danger to reoffending. If noted, the sentencing judge had found him dictated the curse of Islamic terrorism, believing it to be his religious duty.
You see, that's what I'm trying to explain. Jihadists fixate on only a handful of Quranic verses and a handful of Quranic material to the exclusion of all others. And that's why these dangerous far rights, using British language, far rights to the right of the Salaf movement are extremely fucking dangerous. For that man to reform, in my view, as a Muslim, he'd have had to have left Salafism. Do you know what I'm saying? He'd have to have left the central pillars of the core doctrine of what I personally believe to be the most root cause of Islamic terrorism. And I realise that many Salaf people who follow the Salaf, and there's different ways of communicating to this, so I don't want people to be immediately offended. There are people who want to follow the example of the Prophet's first disciples, who are the Salaf. Then you have the actual Salaf movements. Now, one of those movements, what is a core movement of the 2000s and early 90s, was very big on puritanical observation of the Quran. And that particular movement and its puritanical nature led towards the warping of the Holy Quran and the Hadiths for the benefit of those wanting to do harm to the host nation. And that is what I'm trying to get across. That movement still exists, in part, around the United Kingdom.
At the next month's hearing, the parole board confirmed hundreds of pages of evidence will be examined. The panel will hear from the probation officers, psychiatrists, psychologists, the prison staff involved in Ahmed's case, as well as receiving statements from victims. I see it being chucked out. I
don't see it. Even under Labour, even under the weakness that is Labour, I don't see him. If they release him, this will be a death knell for the Justice Minister.
A parole board spokesperson has said decisions are based solely on the risk of a prisoner could pose to the public and whether that risk can be safely managed in the community. Well, he was a taxi driver and he was communicating with other Al-Qaeda people.
No, leading Al-Qaeda.
Leading Al-Qaeda people with invisible ink notebooks. I'm sorry, but no.
Yeah. I don't know many Muslim podcasters, speakers, dawah people who would stand up and say, oh, he can be reformed. A'udhu billah minash shaitanir rajim. Allah subhanahu, God can forgive him. Society needs to keep him away from causing danger to people. Yes, he can seek forgiveness from God. Everyone can seek forgiveness from God. But you can still do that in your fucking cell.
Former head of the National Counter-Terrorism Security Office, Chris Phillips, has previously warned against any release for the 48-year-old. He said, it is madness to be considering this. Public safety would be at risk.
Absolutely.
You have to ask whether it would ever be safe for him to walk the streets again.
No.
That is a very good question.
Absolutely. I agree with the guy. I agree with the anti-terrorist guy. Anybody who got in bed with Al-Qaeda does not have any business walking the streets of Britain.
That was literally it on the thing, but the fact that they've even considered the parole board.
Well, no, they have to. I think it's a legal perception at this point, Christian. I'm saying, after a certain time period, you're legally required to.
Because they didn't turn around and say life without parole.
Yes, it was life with parole. Like he was given life. He wasn't life without parole. So there is a legal requirement to at least assess it. But he'd have to I mean, we're talking total cognitive change of the gentleman's mental faculties, in my opinion, for him to be. I still, as a Muslim, I wouldn't want him in my Muslim community near the young and impressionable Muslim boys and girls in my community. Hell no. Let alone around the rest of the British fucking community. Astaghfirullah. No, fuck no. No. I think more Muslims need to be saying things about like that with Al-Qaeda, because they're murderers. They're mass murdering. They're Khazarite mass murderers. We have nothing in common with them. Over on my site, since we flip the script today, Andy Burham seeks permission to stand in by the by-elections. The king of the northern leftists, Andy Burham, has announced that he is seeking permission to stand in the upcoming Gordon and Denison parliamentary by-elections. If won and became an MP, Burham could mount a leadership challenge against Sir Keir Starmer. And the BBC has been told that allies of the Prime Minister may try to block him from standing in the constituency. Burham is currently a mayor of Greater Manchester, and in a statement insisted that he wants to back the Labour government, not undermine it, adding that the decision has been difficult. The seat in Greater Manchester is vacant after Andrew Gwennan stood down on Friday as MP on health grounds. As a direct elected mayor, Burham has to get approval from Labour ruling National Executive Committee before he can enter the race to be a party contender. That decision is expected on Sunday. Several Labour MPs have reacted angrily to the suggestion that Burham could be blocked from standing in the by-election. Burham has until Saturday afternoon, he already accepted, to submit his application and on the dot of 5 p.m. deadline. He shared his letter externally to the NEC on social media, ending days of speculation over what he was planning. In his letter, Burham said that there was a direct threat to everything Greater Manchester had always been about, from a brand of politics which seeks to pit people against each other. I see this by-election as a front line of the fight for Manchester, why I feel I owe it to the city, which has given me so much, to lead it from the front, despite the risks involved. He said he has left Westminster nearly a decade ago because he believed it wasn't working for people in our part of the world, and that as mayor he had tried to pioneer a different way of doing things. However, he added that he believes Manchester won't be able to do everything it should be without similar change at a national level. That's why he feels the need to go back. There has been speculation that the Prime Minister could face a leadership challenge after the May elections, which will see voters take place in the Welsh Parliament, the Scottish Parliament, and in some local councils in England, of which entire sections have been cancelled, and the democratic votes of the Britain's people, close to 4.5 million of them, have been called into question on whether or not they've been delayed.
Yeah, they have. People have been...
That's disgusting. Disgusting.
They're trying to delay the vote to keep power.
Yeah. There has been speculation that the Prime Minister could face a leadership challenge after the May elections, as I just said. Burham has been touted as a possible leadership contender, but can only mount a challenge if he's an MP in the Commons. In his letter to the NEC, Burham insisted he would be in Parliament to support the work of government, not undermine it. I have passed this assurance on to the Prime Minister. Some senior Labour figures in the party have said that they believe Burham should be allowed to enter the contest. London's Mayor Sir Sadiq Khan, I can't stand that guy in the slightest. If Andy Burham wants to be a Member of Parliament, Andy Burham should be allowed to be a Member of Parliament. Indicating his support for Burham, the Deputy Labour leader Lucy Powell said that the by-election would be difficult and that she wanted to make sure we were putting the best team out on the pitch week after week. I don't want to see Erling Haaland on the bench in a reference to Manchester City football players. She also said Labour members should get behind Keir Starmer, adding that she did not want to see this by-election develop into an infighting and talking about ourselves. Energy Secretary Ed Miliband said Burham would be a massive asset in the Parliament and that he hoped Gorton and Denton party members would have the opinion of selecting him as a candidate. Burham's fate now lies in the hands of the officials at the NEC, which includes Starmer and Powell, alongside Home Secretary Shabal Mamoun. I wouldn't trust her for as far as I can kick her. Party Chair Elis Rees, and trade union representatives. A decision to turn down his application risks infuriating those MPs in Parliament who support the Greater Manchester Mayor. Blackpool South MP Chris Webbs said blocking Burham would have seriously lasting consequences, adding, when you're 2-0 down at half-time, you bring on the super sub to help the team win. East Hall's MP Carl Turner said it would cause the most raving row if he were to be selected and won the Gordon and Denton seat. Burham would have to resign as Greater Manchester's mayor, triggering a new election for the role. Several Labour sources have said the NEC could block Burham's application on the grounds that a mayor election would be expensive for the party. It would also be costly for the taxpayer, with the last mayor election costing around 4.7 million. The area of Gorton and Denton has traditionally voted Labour, and the party won the seat in 2024 with a majority of 13,000. However, since the party's popularity has declined and Labour could face challenges from Reform UK and the Green Party, who came second and third at the general election, shortly after Burham made his intention clear, Reform Lee Anderson posted a picture of himself campaigning in Gorton and Denton with the message, "Bring it on." Lee Anderson is not what... I hope they do. I hope they put Lee Anderson, because he's fucking useless. He was kicked out of fucking... He was practically put on the bench for his incompetence in the Conservative Party to then when he jumped. Like, remember what Reform represent? They represent the dog shit side of the Conservative Party that have got off and slid like mud, like slime, off of the Conservative Party into the rivers of mainstream reform. Because that's what they are. They are the sludge. They are the off-cast of conservatism that is so right-wing that, you know, it slides like oil straight out of politics.
Straight into Nigel Farage's party.
What's your opinion on Burham?
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really heard much of him, to be honest. So.
He was one of the leadership enemies of Keir Starmer when he was elected as party leader after Corbyn.
In that case, let him run, because then it gives Starmer some sweating to do.
So your goal is make Starmer sweat. Yeah, I don't care about the fact that he could be a possible prime minister. He's like, this could hurt Starmer. I like this. He's very popular with the centre left, and he's anti-digital legal thing. He's already that's a positive to Chris. He's anti the digital acts. Interesting.
Despite the fact they're already here, but
no, but that's the point. He's campaigned against them.
So he'll stick massive restrictions on them, regulations, just I say.
Yeah.
Possible. If you play your cards right, you could be on for a winner. You play them wrong, as long as you make Karma sweat, that's all I care about.
To be fair, I think if he gets back in the Commons, it'll force Keir Starmer to actually start paying attention to his party at the grassroots level, because he won't be able to ignore them.
No.
Because there is actually someone with enough political clout to knock him off the post. Yeah, I think he'll be a good. He's far more centralistic than Starmer. Starmer is a red Tory, in my opinion, a blue Tory, in my opinion, a blue Labour, in my opinion. I genuinely think that he's so right wing it's scary, especially with the amount of authoritarian shit he does. And Burham isn't.
Well, the precise moment, as long as it's a step in the right direction, anything's positive these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking anything that moves away from an authoritarian big daddy state with cameras.
Especially if it moves more towards the centre as well, definitely.
Yeah, I think he's a good candidate. I think he'd make a good prime minister.
He has to play his cards right, because he's got some.
Oh yeah, there's so much fucking work in that. Even if he won the MP position and then ousted Starmer, the shit he's got to clear up.
I say there's some goalposts he's got to clear in there, and they're not small ones either.
But the fact that he's anti the Digital Act it's a positive sight. Over to you, my boy.
This one's going to make our
commentary. Our American commentary.
Trump climbs down over his slurs against British soldiers in Afghanistan after sparking widespread outrage for his false claims made about NATO allies.
That's a joke.
The US president has now paid tribute to the great and very brave soldiers of the United Kingdom after previously claiming NATO allies that stay away from the front lines during the war in Afghanistan.
Fucking Jesus. That is a statement.
Sir Keir Starmer raised Mr. Trump's comments directly with the US president during a phone call on Saturday afternoon. Downing Street confirmed. The Prime Minister has joined Prince Harry and the Oh, hang on, here we go. The only reason Starmer spoke up is because Prince Harry has come on board. The royalty has stepped into view, and he's like, shit, best back them.
That's.
Now, veterans and politicians from across the political... Oh, so it's everyone. Oh, so Keir Starmer had no choice. Is commending Mr. Trump's... Condemning Mr. Trump's false claims, with Sir Keir calling them appalling and demanding an apology. Critics have pointed to both the number of non-US calibration deaths in Afghanistan and Mr. Trump's own avoidance.
3,500 coalition soldiers died.
And Mr. Trump's own avoidance of military service in Vietnam.
Oh, Jesus. Ouch.
US President this week was also suggested he is not sure that the US NATO allies would be there if we ever needed them, and he claimed that America had never needed its NATO partners despite being the only member state to have ever invoked the alliance all for one and one for all clause in the wake of 9/11. But in a post on social media on Saturday afternoon, the US president said the great and very brave soldiers of the United Kingdom will always be with the United States of America. In Afghanistan, 457 died, many were badly injured, And they were among of the greatest of all warriors. It's a bold, strong to ever be. It's a bond too strong to ever be broken.
And I wanted to mention to our American commentator who was completely saying that Trump doesn't need a slap. The man has just insulted 3,500 British servicemen and women. We didn't want them going to Afghanistan because we knew Afghanistan, historically speaking, is the graveyard of empires. And yet we did for 20 fucking years. And we went and we aided you. You called this and we backed you up.
Further stuff from obviously what Trump said. The UK military was tremendous heart and soul. It is second to none. Brackets except to the US. I don't know about now. We love you all and always will. President Donald Trump. Following Sir Keir Starmer's conversation with Mr. Trump on Saturday, a number 10 spokesperson said the Prime Minister raised the brave and heroic British American soldiers who fought side by side in Afghanistan, many of whom never returned home, and telling the US President, we must never forget this sacrifice.
It was also American and political and military figures were also pissed at him too.
Yeah.
He took backlash at home.
Kemi Bennett stated that the role of the NATO allies in the conflict should never have been questioned in the first place.
No, it's Trump being a man-child. This is an 80-year-old fucking man-child who's probably affected by dementia. And he's in charge of the world's largest military on the planet.
I'm not quite sure about the dementia part. But
No, seriously, his own people. His own fucking people, his own country think that he's losing his marbles. Americans think he's got fucking dementia. Because only that would explain why he's doing this stuff.
I can understand him losing his marbles, because I'm sorry, but when since has a person ever looked that fucking orange?
Oh.
He's been using self-tanning centres a bit too much.
I genuinely think that Donald Trump really has no fucking idea of how much 3,500 non-Americans died in Afghanistan. And I mean, that talks about the grit of the Afghanistani people, how much they stood for their own country. You know, they fought tooth and nail. Whether you like the Taliban or not, and I've got my own Islamic reasons why I don't like the Taliban, for what they've done non-Islamically towards women and children, and the education of women, which is protected by our Prophet, peace and blessings upon him. The reality sits that, you know, the Allies bled and fought on behalf of America, who acted on the article that they felt attacked, and one for all and all for one, and the rest of fucking NATO came. And that was cheeky as fuck. That is the cheekiest fucking... That's got to be one of the cheekiest things the president has said this week, because next week he might say something even worse. Because you never know with this fuck up.
No, this dude likes spreading shit on fucking social media like wildfire.
He shouldn't be allowed. He really shouldn't be allowed to...
I honestly thought if you was the president, you would have come off the social media and give your social media account to your
political editors in chief.
Political editors.
But that's not going to work. This is Donald Trump we're talking about. This is why he built his own platform. Yeah. The truth seekers do truth something or other. The reason that platform exists is because Donald Trump has been told to get off fucking Twitter and other platforms because the man talks shit so much. So, back to me. Let the public buy war bonds to raise $20 billion for donations, says the Liberal Democrat leader, calling on the government to start issuing war bonds, a scheme the party said could raise $20 billion to bolster the military. Under the plans, members of the public could loan the government money in the form of bonds, which would run over a 2 to 3 year period and pay out the same interest as standard government bonds. Liberal Democrat leader Ed Davis said that the bonds would give ordinary people an opportunity to contribute to British social security. The spokesperson for the government said, my apologies.
Bless you.
And the spokesperson for the government said new debt instruments were kept under review, but that they help to represent value for money and be consistent with wider fiscal objections. Calls to increase the defence spending have intensified in recent years following the Russian full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022 and the election of the bombastic US President Donald Trump, who has frequently criticised NATO countries for failing to spend enough on military. We are the country that spends the most on our fucking military outside of any other NATO country than America. So it goes America, Britain when it comes to fucking NATO spending. The Labour government has pledged to raise the overall defence spending from 2.3 to 2.5 of the national income by 2027 as an estimated cost of additional $6 billion a year. Remember, the requirement is 2% of our GDP, and we're already doing 2.3, and we're going to be doing 2.5. So I don't know how Donald Trump can be criticising the NATO contributions of the United Kingdom when we are the second person putting our hand in our pocket in the entire fucking Western hemispherical military. It is also promised to raise a levy of 3.5 by 2025 in line with a pledge to NATO members last year. However, there has been reports in the Times, external and the Sun, external, that plans to make Britain's armed forces war ready will require 28 billion more than has so far been allocated. 28 billion. The government has been due to publish its defence investment plans last autumn, but they are all suggesting it has been delayed due to concerns about cost. Earlier this month, the head of the armed forces, Sir Richard Knighting, said the UK was not as ready as we need to be for the kind of full-scale conflict we might face. Eating out his party proposal, Sir Ed said, "Now is the moment to be clear-eyed about the threats facing Britain. Vladimir Putin is waging war in Europe, with Donald Trump is tearing up the rules and alliance that keeps us safe." He said Britain and its allies must rapidly strengthen our defences to deter the likelihoods of Putin. It is much better to invest now in deterring a war than having to fight one. I agree with the sentiment. I don't think 20 billion of war bonds is going to do much. Thoughts?
We definitely need to strengthen ourselves, but
yeah,
that's basically saying. Do you see? Saying
war
that
bonds.
the public buy.
Yeah, basically public buying war bonds. You and I both know the public aren't going to buy war bonds.
No. Corporations might.
there's no purchasing of war bonds from the British public. The British public are skint. I don't think Ed Davis, who I've got a great deal of respect for, the party leader of the Liberal Democrats, has any idea how skint the British public are. Incredibly skint.
Keep raising our fucking taxes.
So the idea of war bonds, it's a publicity stunt. It's one that Labour are not going to do it because Labour knows Britain is skint.
Because they're the ones doing it.
They're the ones fucking doing the skinting, and they know that there's no interest. Like me and Chris might buy war bonds out of civic duty, but we would be the exception, and we're middle-aged men. You're not going to get 30-year-olds who are looking to start families doing that. You're certainly not going to get the 20-year-olds to do it. And teenagers are going to sit there hysterically laughing at you, the working teenagers. The 1890s and 20s are just going to hysterically laugh at you. The 20-year-olds are like, I haven't got money, I've got college bills to pay. The 30-year-olds, I'm starting for families. We, the 40-year-olds, might buy out of civic duty.
Might.
But
maybe a case of what do I get out of it?
The better defence of our country. That's
apart from the better defence of our country. I'm talking about the financial pocket here.
Oh, you treat it as government war bonds. So there is a financial return for it.
So we get a return, and that's fine then. Then I'll consider it.
Yeah, you get a civic duty and you're getting a financial return in 2 to 3 years. Because you treat them the same as bonds. The reason I have a problem with this is because I don't believe that you would get the 20 billion. You wouldn't get there.
You'd probably get 1 billion.
You might get 1 billion because, like I said, you've got to understand, you've got to be established. The 40-year-olds are established. The 50-year-olds are preparing for retirement.
Well, they might. The 50-year-olds might.
Yeah.
If it benefits them later down the line.
Yeah. The 60-year-olds will not. Because they're getting their pensions.
They're literally going, well, I'm on the verge of retirement, all my money's coming together, me spending money? No, I ain't spending money.
Do you know what I'm saying? So your pocket is 40 to 50. Because the 30-year-olds are starting families, they've got no spare cash. Do you know how expensive it is to raise kids?
I think it was like $500,000.
Yeah, it's bad. Posters encouraging members of the public to buy bonds or national savings certificates using slogans include "Lend to Defend" and "Feed the Guns with War Bonds." Dan Cotswold, is he local? Head of market investors at AG Balls, said war bonds are a proven way of raising money to fund national defence spending, but they can burden the government with long-term debt. See, because the government's got to pay it back. In theory, the public might demand a better rate of interest. Chris would. I want to see that interest rate go up before you get my hard card money. Then they could get on cash in the bank to take out bonds. While some people might think it's their duty to support the country, there will be others. Yeah, I do. There will be others who treat such bonds in the same way as a typical investment. See, I would see the civic duty towards it. Chris would be like, I could do with a little bit of more money, governor.
Yeah.
I think the idea is good. I don't think 20 billion is enough. I don't think you're looking at who can afford it. The working teens won't either. They'll just hysterically laugh at you. The 20s to 30s are too busy paying off their debts from university. The 30s to 40s are starting kids, families. They ain't got no money. Me and Chris are the bracket that you want, and there aren't that many 40s going on to 50s. More 50 to me. Jesus Christ, I'm getting old. I mean, you're showing the grey. I somehow I've managed to dodge it. But we're the bracket you'd be looking at. And I don't think there's enough of us that could make 20 billion. Do you?
No.
I mean, let's do a bit of a small idea. How many working...
It'd have to be decent real bonds, because bonds don't make much that interest anyway. So.
Okay. Yeah, I know. This is very true. 15 million of us. Oh, you might actually. You might. No, that's. We're the bulk of the working population, actually. Fuck, I just realised. That's quite scary. We represent 70% of the working population. I thought it wasn't that bad. Shit. Okay.
If he frames it right, then he might get it.
Yeah. Party leader, I apologise profusely. I didn't realise that the 40-year-olds are the bulk of the working population of the UK. Shit. There we go. I've just learned something today. Anyway, yes, if it's framed right, and if you can incentivise it enough to get someone like Chris, because for every one of me, there's going to be a Chris. Do you understand what I'm saying? For every John, there's going to be a Chris. Because it's my civic duty. I should do that. Chris is like, I want to see a little more coin in that. So that to get that 20 billion, you're going to have to make it incentive. Anyway, over to Chris.
Britain's favourite farm shop threatened by 4-year motorway closure. I just think this is just reading the story, and I was like, did they not plan this fucking correctly? That would not surprise me. A British farm shop lauded for changing the face of the roadside catering is under threat from plans to close a busy motorway junction for 4 years. Westmoreland Farm Shop and Kitchen at Tetbury services on the M6, which has 400 staff, says disruption from the project will trigger a decline in visitor numbers and damage its business. The Cumbria service station and other local firms, many reliant on tourism, warned that the plans will be catastrophic for the wider community. Sarah Dunning, whose parents established Westmoreland Services, called on the government to intervene to include temporary slip roads in the £400 million project to minimise losses. Ms Dunn said that the closure, the longest planned anywhere in Britain, would simply not be allowed to happen in other parts of the county, and was another example of the concerns of the rural communities being ignored.
Yeah, no, that would do an enormous level of damage.
Nobody is disputing the fact that the bridges need replacing, but this is going to hurt businesses, residents and farmers who use the junction as part of their everyday life, she said. We know from previous experience that roadworks on this scale are going to affect footfall. People will have to go 7 miles north to the next junction and drive all the way south again to get to Tetbury, which they are not going to want to do. 7-mile detour. That's stupid.
Yeah, no, that's going to do an enormous 7. Yeah. That's not 1 or 2 miles. That's damage. That's corporate damage.
Over the course of 4 years or more, people are not going to change their travel habits for businesses that could not be just damaging but final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tetbury could do enormous damage to Tetbury.
Yeah. National Highways has said that the closure junction of 38 of the M6 is necessary to allow the replacement of 8 bridges in a 5-mile stretch of the motorway through the Lune Gorge. Work is due to start next spring, with the north and southbound carriageways each closing for 2 years, with a system of diversions not due to be unveiled until the autumn. While Tetbury Services has its own access roads Ms. Jones said this is concerning. They will become clogged with traffic, preventing the 100 staff required on each shift from getting to work. Westmoreland Farm Shop, which showcases food from within a 50-mile radius, has won numerous accolades, including awards from the Egan Rognway, Witch, and the Royal Agricultural Society, and as well as the David Bellingham Gold Award for Wildlife Conservation. Frank Skinner is a comedian, joked there that were there be a road to heaven, Tetbury would be its service station. That's quite a high. Yeah. That's a high.
Well, no, it is. Tetbury is the farming site. Yeah. It's going to do fucking huge amounts of damage.
Tetbury was rated Britain's second best service station by the Telegraph last year, with one reader saying it offered a glimpse of a parallel universe where motorway services sell excellent food and other high quality products in a beautifully designed environment. Only Gloucester Services on the M5 has also owned by Mr. Jones' family, ranked higher. So Gloucester Services took number one.
Damn. No, I just how far is Tetbury from here?
About 60 miles, I think.
Yeah. So fucking he owns both of them, do you?
Tim Farron, the Liberal Democrat MP from Westmoreland and Lonsdale, said the closure could be the killing of many shops.
No, it will. No, 4 years.
This extent of disruption will be huge. There has been absolutely zero consultation or thought about migration or any kind of reaching out, he said. It seems to me the National Highways went up the road, saw how beautiful it is, and thought, well, nobody lives here, so we don't need to worry about the engineering and not worry about the impact on the community. A study has indicated that the works will cost the local economy 10 million and lead to a loss of 150 jobs in isolated villages. Losses to farmers estimated at more than 400,000 will render some no longer viable, the study suggests.
But Labour wants to destroy small farms, small and medium farms. Labour's anti-farmer. Labour has proven to be anti-farmer. Every other fucking day, me and you have spoken to or been around people in Gloucestershire's communities that fucked us, absolutely fucked us.
No compensation is payable since the project concerns repairs rather than new infrastructure. Mark Mawson, a dairy farmer whose fields sit adjacent to the motorway, said delays and additional mileage will add £100 to cost of a milk tanker collections, of which we had 2 each day, amounting to almost £300,000 over 4 years. £300,000 just in costs for milk to be collected.
Oh my! Ow! A'udhu billah.
National Highways said it is considering the feasibility of a temporary slip roads and will share its decision in the coming weeks. No, not discuss. You're doing it because of the fact you're going to bankrupt. You're going to
destroy these companies, these businesses. Why is it the fucking central London government or bureaucrats fuck us in the country?
They do. A spokesperson said Junction 38 will still remain open to traffic apart from during a limited number of occasional overnight or weekend closures. Our aim is to cause as little disruption as possible. That's why we are working with local communities and businesses nearby to limit the impact. Well, clearly you ain't.
No, clearly you ain't.
Because of the fact you have to consider a slip road. Yeah? When it should be considered, we are creating the slip road whilst we're doing these works. It should have been a no-brainer.
Yeah. This is an example of why Labour are terrible at running national governments. They've done it again and again. And every time the countryside comes up when it involves Labour, we get fucked. We are attacked and damaged every time.
It's almost as if the National Highways Agency has literally gone up and gone. Literally. It's nice and quiet around here. It doesn't look like we're going to cause any disruption. Let's pull in a 4-year plan to close the place down.
Fucking idiots. Just, my brain hurts.
That literally screams to me, someone from a city has drove out there and gone, oh, it's not busy out here, and let's just do it anyway.
Oh, I want to smack someone like that.
Have you not
how,
heard?
how do you think she gets grown, you cunt, in the country?
Have you not heard of a map?
Anyway, over to me. British FBI to take over terror and fraud probes in reform to the police. I don't think this is necessary. I'm going to be completely honest about this as I read this article.
FBI? I thought we had MI5 for fuck's sake.
A new national police service is being created as part of police reforms in England and Wales to take over the counter-terrorism, fraud and crime gang investigations. Home Secretary Shabir Mahmood, who I don't like, says the MPS, dubbed the British FBI, would deploy world-class talent and state-of-the-art technology to track down and catch dangerous criminals. It will bring the works of existing agencies such as the National Crime Agency, the NCA, and regional organised crime units under the same organisation, buying new technologies such as facial recognition on behalf of all forces.
Oh, facial recognition. Oh,
Yeah.
hang on. Is that a sniff of
Yeah.
digitalisation there?
Mahmood said police were stuck in a different century and the new body will form part of a series of police reforms which she will unveil on Monday. Other reform announcements recently included the number of police forces in England and Wales will be significantly cut. Every police officer in England and Wales will have to have a licence to practice. The MPS will cover England and Wales, but be able to operate in the wider UK, setting standards and training. It will be led by a National Police Commissioner, who will become the most senior police chief in the country. The Home Office said local police officers have been burdened with tackling major crimes without adequate training, levelling the inability to address everyday offences like shoplifting and antisocial behaviour. In the past week, the Home Secretary has announced a number of sweeping changes to policing, having described the current structure as irrational. Counter-terror policing led by Metropolitan Police, the National Air Service run by West Yorkshire Police, and the National Road Policing will also be brought under the new organisation. Intelligence and resources will be shared across different forces in stages to ensure the public receive the same level of security no matter where they live, the Home Office said in a statement. It is not the first time the police reforms have been described as British FBI. In 2016, the Serious Organisation Agency, SOCA, was nicknamed British FBI. The coalition government later replaced this with the National Crime Agency, the NCA, which we all know, which were again dubbed the British FBI. Whilst the government claims facial recognition has led to a rapid reduction in crime, reportedly led to 17,000 arrests in the past 2 years, campaigners have raised concerns over issues with bias and privacy. The Home Office said it will be also looking to hire new talent outside of the force for leadership roles. Labour wants to shake up the police, but will this solve the everyday crime epidemic? Garen Beggar, Director General of the National Crime Agency, backed the new national force and said the overall policing system is out of date. Crime has changed, technology has changed, and how we respond needs to change. He added there are threats that affect us all locally, but need a national and international response. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Phillips said the change must not come at an expense of local community policing. He said more top-down recognition risks undermining efforts to catch criminals and its delivery to no real improvement on the ground. Mahmood has previously said the current policing structure is irrational, announcing on Thursday that she intends to drastically cut police forces down from 43, police forces, not numbers. She's cutting police forces.
Oh, so she's condensing.
Down from 43, make it to 12 mega forces. And on Friday, the government announced details of licensing schemes for police officers and increased powers for ministers to intervene when police and fire chiefs are deemed to be failing. The plans have drawn mixed reactions from senior figures in policing, with the Police Federation warning that fewer forces doesn't guarantee more better policing in communities. The Associated Police and Crimes Commission also warned that the creation of regional forces would be expensive, time-consuming and risk separating police forces from their communities. In November, ministers announced plans to scrap police and crimes commissions in 2028 to save at least 100 million and help fund neighbourhood policing. I think this is another go by Labour to try and look like they're modernising the constable system that is still plodding on. And I have to say that I do have a problem with the current constable system. It's not working. But
that's just something. Instead of trying to reinvent a new thing, you just revamp the current system. Yeah. Well, I say
we need more coppers. We
absolutely
need more
coppers. The
coppers.
new system is what you should do.
We need more police. We absolutely need more footfall on the fucking streets of Britain, across the whole length of Britain. Whether it be London, Manchester, York, whether it be Colchester, wherever the fuck it is, Gloucester. We need more physical coppers on the streets of Britain. We need them in the countryside as well, because criminals are using county lanes to smuggle and move drugs and contraband. We just need more physical police. Does this solve our problems? I don't think so. I think it's a quango designed to make it look like they're trying to fix the problem.
They just need to reinvest in what they currently got and update it. Because it probably is outdated.
No, that isn't the question. The question is, will what they're doing be enough? And I don't think so.
No. It'd be the money would be better spent reinvesting in the current one and updating it and bringing it all up to speed.
Yeah.
That would be a better waste of
I would say what you need to do is, instead of merging the 43 forces into 12, is you upgrade each force one by one and then merge them as the upgrades are going on.
Yeah, but still keep little small hubs.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting to get the command structure, I'm not on about on the floor, Chris.
Yeah.
Not on the floor, on the command structure. As you've upgraded it, brought all the tech in, brought all the equipment in, brought more officers in, more police officers need to be on the ground.
Which then equals less the paperwork then being done correctly, because there's more to do it, which means they'll have the time to do it, which means it'll be done correctly.
Yeah.
And that way it'd be easier to prosecute the criminals.
They also need to start seriously looking at bringing voice recognition and camera feed evidence into court. They need to update the legal system.
Well,
the reason that is that would cut the paperwork entirely.
Yeah.
So if your body cam can act as evidence and voice activation evidence in court, you cut back on how much physical paperwork you need to write.
Yeah, because you got the video proof there of what you said and what you're actually doing. That literally saves a 30-page document into a page.
Over to you, sir.
The NHS best kept secret scheme covering care and nursing home costs for Britons.
Oh, I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry.
Britain's NHS will cover Britain's staggering care costs in full if they met certain criteria, but many families are unaware that this support even exists. It's offered through the NHS Continuing Healthcare (CHC) scheme, and it remains one of the system's best kept secrets. An expert has said the support is not means tested, which means income does not determine your eligibility. Lisa Morgan, partner in the nursing caring fee recovery team at the solicitors Hugh James, said the lack of awareness of the scheme is a real concern. She told Express UK. It exists to ensure that people with significant health needs have their care fully funded by the NHS regardless of their wealth. But too often families don't even know it's there until they've spent thousands of pounds on care that they should have had been for free. The NHS CHC is fully funded package of care that some people are entitled to receive as a result of disability, an accident or illness. That's fair. It's available in England and Wales to adults with complex, intense and unpredictable needs, and can be provided in a nursing home, a hospital or a person's own home. Those who are accepted receive fully funded care from the NHS. Given the rapid rising costs of care, nursing home fees and home care, the support can be life-changing. According to Lottie, a free service that helps families source care, the average weekly fee for a residential care home in the UK is £1,300 compared to £1,500 for a nursing home. Across a whole year, you'll pay an estimated £67,600 for residential care or £78,600 for nursing care. That is staggering.
Yeah. No, people sell their homes to get nursing care, mate.
The average cost of at-home care currently stands at £1,680 per month, according to the Home Care's data. People in the UK must fund their own care if they have savings and assets that exceed current thresholds. These thresholds differ depending on where you live. In England and Northern Ireland, you must self-fund your care if your savings and assets are worth more than £23,250.
Yeah, that's fucking outrageous.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, you lose your, like I said, people have lost houses. Kids don't get inheritance of their houses because of the nature of the care industry. It's a joke.
In Scotland, you must self-fund if your total savings and assets exceed 35,000. Those
That's 10 grand more than the rest of us.
It's significantly higher in Wales, where the total savings and assets exceed 50,000. According to a care home, another website that offers families compare and source appropriate care for their loved ones, around half of the care home residents aged 65 and over self-fund, yet many may qualify to have their fees covered. There is a program that offers care to be taken care of to the more severely affected. It seems, in fact, it will more likely cover people with late stage cancer, dementia, Alzheimer's, all the big with Parkinson's, all that sort of stuff. Where I didn't even freaking have on record, did it?
I just fucking remembered. Right, back where you were, darling.
Ready?
Go.
The fact that the program exists where it can cover people in late stage cancer, stage 4, Parkinson's, dementia, Alzheimer's, all the major big ones which lead to obviously the end of life.
Yeah.
Why is this not being spoken
because they know it's going to cost them money. Because they're trying to hold on to this pot of money because the NHS has been screamed down. You got to realise the NHS has been cut down to its bones multiple fucking times by multiple Tory governments. So yes, of course it exists, and they've been hiding it because the money allows them to do other things. Because they're using that pot to rebalance the rest of their actual services that they've had torn apart by the fucking consecutive Conservative governments. Oh, we must sell the NHS whilst we're selling off bits of the NHS. They're cunts. That's why. And that's why. And I understand why it's a well-kept secret. It's well-kept because the pot, if not used, goes around the rest of the NHS. So it's nasty, but it's a survival tactic for the NHS.
That just says to me, we know what we need to fix. We say it every episode.
The fucking tax system in the entire United Kingdom. The fucking tax system has to be reformed. The only way you fix a lot of these problems is you reform the tax system. But yeah, I completely agree with Chris. One of the reasons it's kept secret is to protect the financial institution of the stop and start heart that's the NHS, which is dying because of the constant privatisation effects given by the Tories. Remember, we had 14 years of those cunts.
I'm just disgusted by that. And
we're on target to have a reform government. We're on target for a reform government.
They'll fucking privatise the entire fucking...
Oh, they're going to fuck our country. Anybody who thinks that reform's going to save Britain is delusional. If you can see what's going on in America right now and you think reform's going to save you, you're fucking delusional.
The only positive thing I've seen from reform is they've made local councils accountable for the money they're spending,
and they're fucking that up as well.
Yeah, they've brought it to light, but then they've dealt with it fucking shocking.
Yeah. Oh look, the councils aren't spending their money properly, whilst we fuck it up at the same time.
It's just ridiculous. The fact that something's been kept secret is really raw.
Yeah, no, it'd raw me too. It'd raw me too.
That's boiled my blood almost as much as that stupid terrorist twat at the start.
Hey, to be fair, the fact that he's been denied his paroles multiple times because he was given life. Yeah. It wasn't life without parole, so that's an important factor. I think so. A group of High Court judges should get together and just say, "Let's change it."
This should be changed.
Yeah. I'm the Muslim that would. I would congratulate the judges. Yeah, just change his charge sheet.
Just turn around and go, we've updated your sentencing to life without parole. Your current parole is cancelled.
Yeah. Save the taxpayers, people, the money for fucking doing the parole. Anyway, my last item. The Chango Island debate delayed as Tories call for a halt to the bill. A bill aimed at enshrining in law the government's Chango deal will not be debated in the Lords as previously planned. The legislation, which would see the archipelago in the Indian Ocean handed to the Mauritius, with the UK leasing back a key military base for $101 million a year, was due to be debated in the Lords on Monday. But later on Friday, the Conservatives, who had long opposed the deal, tabled an amendment calling for a pause in light of the changing geopolitical circumstances. Donald Trump threw his toys at the pram. The government has now decided not to go ahead with the upcoming debate and said the bill will return to the Lords at an unspecific later date. The government remains fully committed to the deal to secure the joint UK-US base on Diego Garcia, which is vital for our national security, a government spokesperson said. This is irresponsible and reckless behaviour by peers whose roles is to check legislation, not interfere with our national security priorities. Government sources said that they consider how to respond, but do believe that there were ways to stop a similar tactic being deployed in the future. The Diego Garcia military base of British Indian Ocean Territory Bill is currently in the late stages of parliamentary scrutiny, known as ping-ponging, where it bounces back and forth between the House of Commons and the House of Lords as they attempt to amend elements of it. The Tories claim passing the bill would put the UK in a contraventions of its 1966 treaty agreed with the US over the islands and therefore in breach of international law. Article 1 of the 1966 treaty says the territory shall remain under the UK's sovereignty. The Tories have called on ministers to ensure agreement is reached with the US over the 1966 treaty before the bill returns to the House of Lords. Under the terms of the proposed new Chango deal with the Maoris, the UK will lease back Diego Garcia, the largest of the islands and home to a shared UK-US military base. The deal sets a 24-mile buffer around Diego Garcia, where nothing can be built without the UK's consent. Under the terms of the agreement, which was signed by Sir Keir Starmer last May, the Maoris would gain sovereignty of the islands from the UK, but allow the US and UK to continue operating a military base on one of their islands, Diego Garcia, for an initial period of 99 years. The government said it would pay Maoris an average of £101 million a year for 99 years, which Sir Keir Starmer said amounted to a net cost of £3.4 billion after adjusting for factors including inflation. Last May, the Prime Minister said the United Kingdom had to act now or face the Maoris legal action that could interfere with the Diego Garcia base. He said if we did not agree this deal, the legal situation would mean that we would not be able to prevent China or other nations setting up their own bases on outer islands or carrying out joint exercises near our bases. No responsible government could let that happen. A delay in the bill parliamentary journey comes in the same week US President Donald Trump appeared to have changed of heart over the agreement. On Tuesday, Trump described the agreement as a great act of stupidity, despite his administration having previously been content with the terms. Before signing the deal in May last year, the UK office offered Trump an effective veto because of the implications for the US security. Allies of the president had critiqued the plan, but during a meeting with Starmer in the Oval Office last Friday, Trump said, I think we will be inclined to go along with your country. So you can't trust Donald Trump on anything. You consult the fucking man-child, because he is a man-child. You consulted the 80-year-old man-child, here's a veto if you have a problem with it. No, you don't? Cool, we can get on with it. And then, I think it's a bad idea. That's why I think the cunt has dementia. He can't fucking remember one fact after another. Shit he has already agreed to.
Is this all over the Chango Islands?
Yeah.
The things that we shouldn't have fucking given away in the first place.
No, you can have that argument. What I'm saying is Trump had already signed off on it.
If he already signed off on it.
Yeah, you see my point. And now he's making noise.
You already agreed, so why are you complaining?
Allies of the president have criticised the plan. Starmer in the Oval Office last February, literally a year ago. After the agreement was signed, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Washington welcomed the deal externally. Rubio said it secured the long-term stability and effective operations of joint US-UK military facilities at the Diego Garcia, which are critical for assessing for regional and global security. Which is cool. America and Britain both agreed it was a good deal. We've got the deal. We've got it sorted. Now Trump changes his mind. Welcome to Trump world politics. Well, I made an agreement last year that I can't even remember.
That's about right.
I'm just serious. The guy is fucking mentally retarded. You made an agreement, politically speaking, last year, literally less than a year ago. We haven't reached February the fucking 2026 yet. You stupid orange cunt. Oh, my fucking head hurts.
Do you remember those adverts, You've Been Tangoed?
He's been tangoed. He's the fucking example of it. Oh, tango.
I need the orange dude with the hand.
That's what I'm saying. He's fucking mad. Thank you for reaching the end of our video.
Just before we end, I'm going to say make sure you look up the delightful warm homes plan, because obviously it could help you cut your energy bills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the fact it involves obviously schemes of obviously where you can get loans or low interest stuff or anything else if you want to upgrade your boiler and to put solar panels on your roof. So make sure you look up to it, but also
Yep.
make sure you weigh out the costs. Because when it comes to heat pumps and boilers, a heat pump, even though it's proven to be more efficient, doesn't mean it's more cost effective.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
a very important factor.
Yeah.
As Chris always gives our financial advice on this side of the table.
Yeah, always look it up, always double check, because at the moment it's sizing up that you can just upgrade your boiler to one of the latest ones, and it is more cost effective than the heat pump.
Fantastic. But as always, I'm John, Sean, or Yahya, depends on who you're asking. And as always, this is the Blue Collar Workers, your voice, your nation.
I'm Chris, hope you have a smashing day.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.